What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Foots the King. As always, thank you all for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I cannot do this without you. This video is brought to you guys by BetUS. BetUS has all your betting needs. The wild card round this weekend. Dallas isn't in it. I'm sick, but it is what it is. We're in off-season mode, but you even have college football playoffs on Thursday and Friday. It's going to be a packed 4 or 5 days of football, just of sports in general. NBA, NHL, you know, when baseball gets started, basketball, college basketball, everything that any betting that you could possibly think of, BetUS has it. And they added a cool feature. All right, if you guys are into the slots, they have the casino, the BetUS casino. I want to make sure I get this read right, so I'm going to show the graphic here, and then I'll talk about this read. For all my followers who like slots or live casinos, BetUS has an amazing sign-up bonus, 200% sign-up bonus, and get you $5,000 or 250% crypto bonus, sign-up bonus, get you $5,000. So BetUS is really cornering the market when it comes to betting. Make sure you guys bet responsibly. But BetUS, thank you so much for sponsoring this channel. All right, guys, we are in off-season mode. I hate it, but it is what it is. We're in off-season mode, and I feel like this team is closer than we think. But when we do these mock draft scenarios, and I got a 5-rounder that I'm about to talk about, when we do these mock draft scenarios, we need to kind of think about how will the team benefit, what does the team lack, and we have to rank positional needs. So there's going to be people who watch this mock draft and say, Foots, absolutely no way. You didn't draft who I wanted to draft. Be patient, y'all. Be patient. Don't throw tomatoes at the screen. And if you do, if you want to throw tomatoes at the screen, I'm okay with that. Just tell me why. Like, let's get to the why, because I have some whys here, and I want to be kind of the first to just tell you guys. I looked at this cornerback room, and I don't want to, bury the lead on my mock draft. I looked at this cornerback room. I want receiver. Yes. I want running back high. Yes. I want weapon high. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. But I looked at this corner, guys who actually have to defend passes. I'm very scared. Let's get to this Dallas Cowboys 5-round mock. I did it on a PFF simulator. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's talk about it. So, pick 12, the Dallas Cowboys did draft Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. This guy was in last year's national championship. He was the defensive. He wasn't the defensive player of the game. He was the MVP of the game. This guy is a special cornerback, and the reason why I drafted him is not only could this be a real deal because he did have the turf toe injury. Teams suck at drafting. That's how you end up getting a Micah Parsons. That's how you end up getting a CeeDee Lamb. That's how you end up having Kyle Hamilton fall to pick 14 to Baltimore. I got to tell you guys, this cornerback room scares me. We don't know when Trevon Diggs, as good as he's been, we don't know when he's going to play football again. Do we want to run out guys like Troy Pride, Amani Oruye, Kalen Carson? No. That's a no-go. It just is what it is. We got to remember, Deron Bland didn't even play football until mid-season this year. He hurt his foot, was just out. Corner is the one position where you just can't go in the middle of training camp and just go find a stud. It just doesn't work like that. Hell, the Cowboys could double down at corner. When we drafted Kalen Carson this year, I was excited, but then I also had in the back of my mind the speed of the game might be too much. He's also been hurt, and when he played this year, outside of the Browns game, the speed of the game looked like it was too much. You get a guy like Will Johnson here, and let's just talk about him. He's an outside alpha press corner. Like, you leave him on an island, that's what he does. He also has really fluid hips. He can play some end zone, as I read off my notes. Now, he did have the turf toe, but he's just a guy, and to me, his superpower is size, length, and ball skills and athleticism. So with all these picks, I'll do their superpowers. His superpowers, he has about 4 of them. And his weaknesses, at times, he can be a little too aggressive. But I'm just here to tell you guys, this guy's an A1 alpha type pick. Yes, I want running back. Yes, I want corner. But when I looked at the board and who was available, I couldn't pick over. Like, I wouldn't even take some of these receivers. I wouldn't take Luther Burden. I wouldn't even take Ashton Genty over Will Johnson. If the board fell that way, I'm taking Will Johnson all day, every day. Will Johnson, you're a Dallas Cowboy. Pick 44. We went Trayon Henderson, guys. And if you guys have a shameless plug, make sure you guys go look at the scouting breakdown that I did on Trayon Henderson. I just got to tell you, this guy reminds me so much of Tony Pollard and possibly has better pedigree than Tony Pollard. Him, Quinshon Judkins in that 2 running back role. When Quinshon Judkins transferred in to Ole Miss, it was kind of like, okay, Quinshon Judkins is going to be the better back. This year, he was not. Let's talk about Henderson's superpower. To me, it's explosiveness. Explosion, explosion, explosion. He sees a crease, he hits it, he can go yard. Like, he has real long speed. He's going to be a 4.3 guy. He's going to be a 4.3 guy at the combine. So if he runs a 4.3 at 205 pounds, 5'10", get ready. He's going in the second round. As weakness to me, you could possibly say is finish, but there's been times even throughout this playoff run against Tennessee, against Oregon, where the finish in the pop looks good. This Cowboys team, you could pair him with Rico Dowdle and possibly go running back again, and now your run game is what? It's back to being elite. You have guys back there. So if it's me and Will and I'm now able to parlay Will Johnson with Trayon Henderson in my first 2 picks, I feel really, really good. He also got to remember he's a really good pass catching back. They throw him on swings. I think that Chip Kelly doesn't use him enough in the pass game. He can catch the wheel route. I thought that Judkins was a better pass catcher. He's not. This would be a pick to me that would solidify these first 2 picks. You get these 2 guys, offense and defense, an elite defender, and a really good running back. I would feel really good about these first 2 picks. Pick 76. This was my steal. This is what rounded up this draft class for me. Derek Harmon in this class of D tackles, if he somehow slips to the 3rd round, I know you want receiver. I know you have other needs. I'm going Derek Harmon, and it isn't even close. 6'5", 310, this guy looks the part. Go watch the Ohio State game against a good old line. He's pressing guys. He's moving them out the way. The thing that I like about Derek Harmon is at that size, he has really nimble feet. We don't know what's going to happen with Chauncey Golston. We don't know what's going to happen with Osa Odigizua. The only D tackle that you really have on this roster right now that is in your future is Mazi Smith. And Mazi Smith did play good towards the end of the season. But what's wrong with getting him help? Let me read off the names of D tackles in this class that could possibly go before Derek Harmon. There's a roadmap to him falling to the 3rd round. Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, Tyleek Williams, Alfred Collins, who I really like Alfred Collins, and Deion Walker. Deion Walker's kind of fell. The thing I like about Derek Harmon over a guy like Deion Walker is his motor's a little bit better. The problem with Walker is as the game goes on, he's not coming off the ball the same. His superpower, hands. His superpower, hands. His superpower is hands. He plays with violent hands, and he moves you out the way. So he doesn't just punch and get locked on. I wrote hands down 3 times. He doesn't just punch and get locked on. He punches, he moves you out the way, and he has quick enough feet. The only issue that I do have with him and his weakness is sometimes his pad level is a little high. But in the 3rd round, pick 76, again, you can make this draft feel really, really good and say, you know what, we want to run the ball, we want to play defense and outstanding defense. I feel like with Derek Harmon, Trayon Henderson, and Will Johnson, you have 3 starters instantly. And that's the goal. When you're talking about a draft, you need to get 3 starters in the first 5 picks, especially the way that the Cowboys want to run their organization, their operation. You need those 3 starters. That makes a lot of sense to me. Here we go. Pick 148, Jon Barnum. His superpower is he is an attack linebacker. His weakness in space, sometimes it isn't always the best. But let's talk about the player. So he's somebody that's from the DMV area. He was recruited and went to Maryland early on. He was an end at Maryland early on. Then he transferred to Michigan, and he played a lot more off ball. This guy is kind of a Tremaine Edmonds clone. He can't quite move the same as Edmonds in space, but coming forward, coming downhill, he plays just like Edmonds. Well, guess what? The Cowboys haven't needed linebacker. I think that Maris Louisville had an outstanding run to the end of this season. He'll probably end up being your Mike. Are we bringing Kendricks back? When will Overshown play football again? Damone Clark was not even in the plans for this team. So you haven't needed linebacker, and I'm telling you, Jon Barnum is a guy that can play off ball. He can also rush. What does Mike Zimmer like his linebackers to do? He likes those guys to be violent. He likes those guys to attack. I think that this guy from Michigan makes a ton of sense. He's from the DMV area. You know, he went to St. Francis. He's a guy that I followed for a long time. Jon Barnum makes a lot of sense. Pick 168, all right? Moving right along. We went Jack Nelson. One thing for sure, you're getting linemen from Wisconsin. You're getting tight ends and physical, gritty guys from Iowa. Yes, we're going to draft a helmet here. We went Jack Nelson. He is a dog as a run blocker. And I want to make this clear. For the O-line people in the world, in Cowboys world, and guess what? This O-line showed me with T.J. Bass, with Brock Hoffman, will they be elite? Maybe not. Will they suffice? Yes. I think some of what we saw in the run game was you just had to have Rico Dowdle on there because Zeke didn't have juice. You bring in a few more backs with juice. This run game and this offensive line created holes. They moved guys off the ball. I think that you add a guy like Nelson, his superpower, again, power in his lower half is really good as far as a drive blocker, double team, duo blocker. His weakness, he doesn't really have great footwork. He will be a swing tackle, guard type. He has some guard flex. He can play tackle as well. But you know, if you got a chance at a Wisconsin lineman, somebody that you may have graded in the 3rd round, he slips to the 5th. You have 4 5th-round picks this year. So if he slips to the 5th round, you draft him and you don't look back. Here's another steal for me. Pick 170. KRON Allen. I'm going to just tell you right now, this guy is a player that I love. Everybody talks about Cam Scatterbo. You need to bring up KRON Allen when it comes to physical and finish. His superpower, he will run through your face. He will run through your face. Now, the Cowboys have 3 backs on their roster. Trayon Henderson, Rico Dowdle, KRON Allen. 3 backs that can give it to however you want it. That's how these guys are going to give it to you. This guy is 221, 5'11", bowling ball. But he has like some nimbleness and some quickness, but he is a bowling ball. So his strength is physicalness and finish. His weakness is probably not the best creator. Okay, so he's not a great creator, but he does just enough in the run game, short yardage downs. He can come in, he can move the pile. And if one of these guys gets hurt, we got to remember, Rico hasn't always been healthy. This is his first year ever playing all 16, 17 games. So if one of these guys gets hurt, you could have a 1-2 punch with Henderson and Allen and be fine. I like this pick. This was one of my steals. And then wrapping up this 5th-round mock, I went Jay Higgins, Iowa. Reminds me so much of Anthony Hitchens. It's not even funny. Iowa has a good pedigree for linebackers as well. And I think that he can come in and be a special teamer. That's kind of how he made his name at Iowa, was a special teams ace early on, then it was able to get on the field. So to me, this draft is about getting physical, playing defense, taking the ball out of Dak's hands. Dak, you're going to throw the ball no more than 30 times a game, and we are going to run the football. We now have creative runners. We now have physical runners. We're going to run the football. We're also going to play defense. What do I mean by that? We got to cover on the back end. You're in a division now with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin. We saw Terry McLaurin catch a game winner on Bland's head. I know we need receiver. I'm with you. But if a guy like Will Johnson falls, you guys need to understand just how good Will Johnson is. There's other cornerbacks in this class that could be trade back. Listen, Ben Morrison, trade back candidate. Jahdae Barron, trade back candidate. You cannot, it would be inept to just say, hey, as much as we need receiver, we don't have a plan at corner. Now, if you want to address corner in free agency, talk to me. I'm cool. You're not running out Troy Pride, Kalen Carson, and Andrew Booth again. Foots is not for that. If you guys are, cool. I'm not for that. We don't know what's going to happen with Trayvon Diggs. I got us some help here. What do you guys think about this mock draft? I'll put the graphic on the screen. It's your boy, Foots the King. I'm passionate about this draft stuff. You guys know that. So it's your boy, Foots the King, as always. Thank you all for liking, sharing, and subscribing. More draft intel breakdowns coming this week. We're going to start this week off right. We don't even know who the head coach is, but I just drafted you guys some new players. So you guys let me know what you think. All right. Peace. Love you guys.